Good morning, America. This is London calling. I'm Andy Riyad from Axiom Men's Grooming and the Wax Academy here in England with some exclusive web content for Skin Inc. magazine. We're going to do a nostril wax, one of the easiest ways to extend your service menu and a surefire hit with male customers the world over. So I'd like to introduce you to Ryan, and more specifically, Ryan's nostrils, which he has kindly volunteered for us to defuzz today. So we're going to start by cleansing the area. A little bit of antiseptic skin cleanser on a cotton pad. Wipe over the lower part of the nostrils. And then a small amount of oil. The oil acts as a barrier. It makes it easier for you to remove the wax from inside the nostrils, which means it hurts a lot less for the client. It makes it much more comfortable. So a little pinch of oil and just wipe around the lower part of the nostrils. Now I wear gloves for all waxing services, from bushy brows down to big toes and everything in between, but if you don't normally wear gloves, you absolutely want to be wearing them for this. You don't want to be poking about inside someone's nose with no gloves on. So once the oil is on, we're going to be using our hard wax, also known as peelable or non-strip wax. You can't do this service with soft wax. You will just end up in a gooey, sticky mess, and that's no fun for anybody at all. So you need to be using your non-strip wax. If your client has any facial hair, and you can see here Ryan has been carefully cultivating his moustache for us, chances are he's going to want it to stay where it is. Now if you have those pre-cut paper strips that people tend to use for things like eyebrow waxing and lip waxing, you can take one of these and protect the facial hair by placing it over the upper lip like so. If you're anything like me, however, I've got better things to be doing with my time than cutting up paper strips, so you can just use a regular size strip, fold it in half like so, and then ask your client to hold it in place over his upper lip while you put the wax in. So take a facial spatula, pea-sized amount of wax. We're going to push the nostril half shut. This just stops the wax from going too high inside the nose, and wipe from the lower part of the nostril straight up towards the tip like so. And you'll notice I'm not putting the spatula into the nose itself, and there's a very good reason for that, which I will explain in a moment. Once the wax is on, push the nostril completely shut, and this has the effect of just squidging the wax ever so slightly higher into the lower part of the nose to catch all of those little blighters in its gooey goodness. So we'll just hold that for a moment. And then while the wax is still gummy, let go of the strip for me, Ryan, and we're going to remove the paper strip at this stage. If you wait too long, then the wax will get stuck to the paper strip and everything will just be kind of connected, and we don't want that. Okay, so we need to wait a couple of minutes just for that wax to set, and remember I said that I wasn't going to be putting the spatula inside the nostrils itself, and there are two reasons why we don't do that. The first reason, it's dangerous. If you put a spatula inside the client's nose, and especially if you leave it there, it only takes a single mistimed sneeze or the client to move his head and knock the spatula for him to end up with a spatula in the skull, and that's not a good look, quite frankly. So you're only going to be wiping the wax on the lower part of the nostril. The second reason is we're only going to be removing the hairs that protrude out of the nose itself. The hairs that are further up here in the nasal cavity are meant to be there. They've got a job to do. They act as a filter to stop things like dust and other unwanted bits and bobs from getting where we don't want them. So we need those hairs up here to stay in place. So we're only going to be removing those hairs that protrude out of the lower part of the nostril. In terms of your contraindications, normal waxing contraindications will still apply, but there are some specifics that you need to be aware of. Any signs of infection, irritation, or lots of broken capillaries, and we're not going to be doing a nose wax for our client. If you have a client who suffers with recurrent nosebleeds, you know the type of person that you just have to look at them and they get a nosebleed, then waxing is definitely a no-no for that person. And if your client has a nostril piercing, a nose ring or a stud, and which in fact Ryan does, but we removed it before filming started, you want to ask him to remove that before you start the service. Otherwise, you'll remove it for him through the wrong side of the nostril with your wax, and that's going to hurt. Okay, so that should be just about set now. What we're going to do is pinch the nostrils fully shut, flick the corner of the wax, grab hold of it, and then we're going to pull quickly and firmly down towards the client's feet. And we need to keep our hand parallel to the body at all times. So we'll just pinch the nostrils shut like that. I'm using a spatula to help with that first flick. Grab hold, 1, 2, 3. Super, and that's got those hairs out. Brilliant. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to zoom in so that you can see me putting the wax in a little clearer on the other side. Okay, nostril number 2. You only do one nostril at a time. If you put wax in both nostrils at the same time, it's a little claustrophobic for the client and he will have difficulty breathing. So take a paper strip, place that over the customer's upper lip if he has facial hair. Hold that in place for me, Ryan. Facial spatula, and as before, pea-sized amount of wax on the tip of your spatula. We're going to pinch the nostril half shut and wipe the wax towards the tip of the nose in one smooth motion. Once your wax is in place, push the nostrils completely shut. As with the other side, this will squidge the wax ever so slightly into the lower part of the nose to catch those hairs. Hold it for a moment and let go. While the wax is still setting, let go from there. Remove your paper strip as before. And again, it will just take a couple of moments to set. This is a really great service to add to your treatment menu, and it is an easy service to upsell to male clients as well. It's an unfortunate fact of life that as guys get older, unfortunately we do get some stray hairs sprouting out of our nose and our ears. And rather than walking around with what looks like a triffid poking out of the nostrils, some guys will take a pair of tweezers to them, or even some of those battery-operated trimmers. Anyone who has ever tweezered a nostril hair will tell you it hurts. It brings tears to the eyes of the strongest of men out there. Now, for some reason, and I don't know why, but waxing genuinely does not hurt at all when you are clearing the hair from the nostrils. So that's a really easy way to upsell it to your client. And of course, waxing, as we all know, lasts longer than trimming because it removes hair by the root. So who wouldn't be sold on those benefits alone? Now, occasionally your wax won't come out cleanly when you come to remove it. It might snap, in which case that's usually because there isn't enough wax in the nostril or it's been applied too thin, or sometimes the wax will just stretch like chewing gum, which means it needs a little longer to set in the nose. Don't worry if either of those things happen to you. Just apply some more wax straight over the top of the wax that's remaining in the nostrils, wait for it to set, and then remove the whole kit and caboodle together as normal, and it'll be like nothing has happened. Now, if you want to fill the time while the wax in the nostril is setting, you could remove the hair from the client's ears. That's a great service to link up with nostril waxing, or indeed you could be tidying up the eyebrows for the client as well. Right, so that should be just about set and ready for us to get. As before, I'm going to flick a corner of the wax up. I'm then going to pinch the nostril shut and remove parallel to the body straight down towards the feet. So pinch the nostrils, flick the wax like so, 1, 2, 3, and there we go. Wax is out, hairs are out. We're going to finish the service off with some cleanser. A little bit of antiseptic skin cleanser on a cotton pad, wipe around the lower part of the nostrils. And we're all done. Hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any comments or questions, I'd love to hear from you. You can contact me via my website, learnmalewaxing.co.uk. Do go and check out the rest of the Skin Inc. website, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe. It's the leading magazine for our industry. I get my copy shipped from pretty much halfway around the world, so it must be good. Hope you've enjoyed it, and hope to see you again soon.